Welcome to the Rusted Garden Homestead. In the third episode of Gardening for a Family of Four, I'm going to show you how to build a 4-foot by 4-foot raised bed out of lumber. This is pressure treated lumber. We're going to build it using nails and a hammer, the most basic way to do it. Screws work better, but I want to just show you the basic build. This series is about a family just starting, so we're going to just start with what is most inexpensive. Hammer and nails is best if you can afford or you have a power drill. Screws do work better. Basic 4x4, show you how to build it. I'm also going to take you to Home Depot to show you where you can find the wood, get it cut so that this will fit right in your back seat. So let's go to where I have some established 4x4 raised beds. In this series, I've already done 2 episodes. First episode really showed you how to pick out your garden space, talked about the different designs. You might want to use raised beds. You could use just plain earth beds. It doesn't really matter. You're just going to need a place to grow your vegetables. Check out the video description. I will put the Gardening for Family 4 playlist in there. So here's one 4x4 raised bed. You can see I have some cattle panel in there. I usually drop in a zucchini plant and cucumber plants along here, another zucchini on the other side, maybe some peppers. Same thing over here, plus a nice design of a trellis, and those are dried beans that I will actually harvest and be able to plant because those beans dried over the winter and they're going to be viable and I'm going to be able to grow my plants off of seeds that I saved. Here's another 4x4. This is where I'm growing tomatoes. Tomato plant right in there, and then I put 2 more in the back corner, 4 tomato plants. And then I was actually growing corn in here, but you kind of get the idea of how you can place your 4x4 raised beds. I'm showing you, of course, how to build one. You're probably going to want at least 2, probably 4 for a family of 4. In the second video, I talked about seed starting tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers indoors, I think even eggplant. And some people said I didn't recommend starting enough plants. Well, remember, this series is for a family that's just getting started. So please subscribe and follow. And my thought is that, we'll just start with the basics. You'll get to see how plants grow, what it's like to tend them, how big they get, and if you certainly want to expand your garden, expand your garden. But I'm going to take you through the entire process. So we'll start with building a basic 4x4 raised bed, which is a perfect project to do in February when it's cold here on the East Coast and you can't do much of anything else. I wanted to show you the simplest way to build your raised bed. So these are 4-foot pieces of wood. They're pressure treated. Nothing wrong with pressure treated wood. They're treated with copper. You'll read a lot online about how they may be toxic or problematic, etc. Pressure treated boards do leach a little bit, but what comes out of them isn't going to harm you. It's not going to harm your plants. And in fact, for the copper levels to really harm you, they'd have to get pretty high. But in low doses, too much copper is going to kill off your plants, so you're never going to eat any of this copper treatment that's in pressure treated lumber. I do recommend the pressure treated lumber. These are going to last 7-10 years, so whatever expense you have in wood, you can kind of divide it out by 7 years, 10 years, and it's a lot cheaper that way. If you use wood that's not pressure treated, it's just going to rot faster, so that's really up to you. You want at least 3.5-inch long nails, 3.5-inch long screws. Screws secure the boards a little bit better so that if the boards warp, they don't pull out. But here's the most important tip for warping. So you can see that I put in 4 nails, first of all. You're going to want to use 4 nails, 4 screws, set up something like that, on both sides, and then on that board too. When you look at the wood here, you're going to see how a rainbow is formed. You want to put the nails or the screws on the outer part, or the top part of the rainbow, and it's going to nail into the other board. The other board will go right here, nail in this way, because if this board is going to warp, it's going to warp towards the piece of wood that you secure right here. It always warps towards the bottom of the rainbow. Sometimes you can't distinguish depending on what part of the wood is cut, but look for that rainbow shape. Put the nails on the top of the rainbow, nail this board into the other board, and that will help prevent this from warping and separating. Hope that makes sense. So I like to just kind of set my boards up like this, And then I'll just show you how to square it out. You're going to nail it together or screw it together, and you have your 4 foot by 4 foot raised beds. These are 10-inch sides. I recommend 10-inch sides or 12-inch sides for a raised bed. You're going to put in all your good materials into here. It's a nice depth for root crops and establishing your other plants. So let's go over to Home Depot and just show you how you would pick this out and get these cut there so that they are going to actually fit really easily in your car. Just walk into the lumber section of any of the big box stores. You're looking for 2 by 10 by 8s. That's perfect for a 4 by 4 raised bed that'll have 10-inch sides, or you could pick up one that's a 2 by 12 by 8 that'll have 12-inch sides. You get 2 pieces and then you take them over to this part of the lumber yard. This is the radial arm saw. You can just ask them to cut your 8-foot piece of lumber into 2 4-foot pieces. They will transport easily in a car, and you're going to have your 4 foot by 4 foot raised bed with 10-inch sides or 12-inch sides. Now your 2 by 8s, they're not perfectly 8 feet long. That's just the way lumber runs. So when you get these cuts, they're not going to be perfect. Don't over stress about lining up everything perfectly, but I wanted to give you one tip. When you're putting on the side of your board, put in the first nail first, the top nail here. That will allow this board to move left and right, and you want to line the bottom up just like that, and then put in the bottom nail. And this way you get it as flush as you can along here. And you can see there's a little rainbow right there. That's just the way it is. It's not going to change. And then after you do the top, line it up, do the bottom, put in the other 2 nails. Here's another tip. Again, screws work best, but maybe you don't have the budget to buy a power drill. You have to screw these in with a power drill. You can't do it by hand. So when you're putting on the second piece, you might see that it's hard to really push this edge in. Like from this side, we can push this in, and then we could just nail it down, and it's going to be nice and flush. If we come over to this side, it's not as flexible. So let's see, that just won't push in. If you turn the whole piece to its side this way, let me get back this in frame, then you can use your body weight to push down on this. Let me make sure it's in there. Use your body weight to push down on that, and you can level it out and put the screw in or put the nail in, and that will keep it nice and flush. That's how you build a basic raised bed. Final tip is when you're building these, they can be 4 feet by 4 feet, just like this one, or they could be 4 feet by 8 feet, something like that. You always want the width to be 4 feet because your arms are about 2 feet, so you can reach in, tend to it without walking in there. So that's why the raised bed design will be a 4 by 4, 4 by 6, 4 by 8, even a 4 by 10. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and follow. I will teach you everything you need to know to grow a garden for a family of 4. And please check out my seed shop at therustedgarden.com. Thanks for watching.